Alright guys, so in this video we're checking out the latest from Diatone, the Roma L5. This is a 5-inch lightweight long range / freestyle type of quad. Got your 2004 motors on this guy, sort of a dead cat style frame. The motors, they come in 1700 kV. I believe this is what this is, 1700 kV. Yeah, these are 1700 kV, and then the 4S version will be 2900 kV. So I flew this obviously on 6S. This is the Vista version, or the DJI version, so it has the Vista in the back. And mine was a prototype, which I've highly modified here. So came with the Nebula micro camera, but the production ones will come with the Nebula Pro camera, which is actually what this has. So actually I swapped this out myself. I put in the Nebula Pro camera from one of the ones that I actually had. I added a crossfire receiver here in the front, and you can see I just have a zip tie to that front standoff. And then the crossfire is, well, it's kind of hard to see. Where did I bury it? Somewhere, I think it's right there. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see there. There is a spot, obviously, where you can put the crossfire here in the back, but I prefer my antennas in the front. And it's just because that's, in my opinion, that's the best place to put it. You guys can feel free to disagree, comment down below if you do. But yeah, this is where I think most people that fly long range feel that this is the best place to put it in the front. Other than vertical, if you want vertical, that's obviously the actual best, but kind of hard to do on a frame like this. Now, they do have the new all-in-one board here. This is also totally brand new. 35 amp BL Heli SDSEs in this one, F7 all-in-one, so it's got plenty of UARTs. The opted to go with the XT60 here, and for the battery connection, got your long antenna. I believe this should be left-handed. Yeah, left-hand circular polarized. They have a new GPS on here. It's the M8, I believe. It's a different one. It's not the BN220 or 180 that was giving them problems before, but failed. Well, I think they kind of failed here because this one still is giving me a lot of problems. I can't get a GPS lock on this one. It may be because it's a prototype, but it does have the new cable, the shielded cable there. So I'm kind of wondering why this GPS is not working compared to the ones that I fixed on the F4. You saw that previous video, you probably know that I fixed the GPS on the F4 with this new cable, but it should be working on this one, but you know, it is running over the Vista again, and the Vista does emit a lot of RF noise, so maybe something is wrong there. There's a little buzzer there in the back, not battery powered, so if battery is ejected, then the buzzer is not going to help you. The dead cat style frame is basically a blown up version of the F4. Just basically long elongated arms, and I think they went with the Gemfan 3-bladed props here. Now, this was a prototype. It didn't come with any kind of pitch tune on it, which was kind of shocking. So when I first saw it, I was like, wow, this is not flying well at all. It was totally out of control. So I ended up flashing the PIDs from the Camera 5 on here, and I'll show you the demo flight of that at the very end. I was flying with those PIDs without this GoPro here, so I opted to go with a full-size GoPro. I went with the this is just the Hero 6 Black full-size and full-size cage, because this is the mount that's included. I would recommend not going to this size, because when you go with this plus the giant 6S 1050 battery, which they recommend, I think it weighs too much. So even with the Camera 5 PIDs with all this weight, it's too much weight. So I would say if you're going to go with the 6S 1050, go with a naked GoPro and just ditch this whole mount setup here. That's what I would recommend. I didn't do that for this video because I just don't have time for every single model, optimize the model for, well, basically do the job of the manufacturer, which I'm not going to do anymore. I'm kind of tired of that, and Diatone needs to fix this on their own, and hopefully by the time they actually get out of pre-orders, they'll have a solution with a better PID tune and a better solution for this. I'm giving them all this feedback as well, so hopefully they'll use that feedback to create a better product here, because if with this here, with using the full-size GoPro and the 6S 1050 battery is too heavy, I would say go with a 6S850 and a naked GoPro. I think that's going to definitely fly a lot better. That's what I would recommend if you're going to go with the 6S version. If you want to go with a 4S version, the 2900 kV motor, the setup is going to be pretty light. So I'd say yeah, 4S 850 as well, or maybe a 4S 1000 should be okay with the naked GoPro. I don't recommend going with the full size GoPro on this. Even when you're just cruising around, it's just the motors just don't have enough control authority to handle that much weight. And I'll show you the overall weight here in a second. But anyway, as I was saying earlier, when I flew without the GoPro and the 6S 1050, it flew much better, obviously on the Camera 5 PIDs, and that's the flight demo you'll see at the end. I'm just doing like just typical acro and stuff. It seems fine. There's a little bit of prop wash, and obviously the tune needs to be customized for this. So Diatone hopefully will have a custom tune out by the time this is actually released for production. And I think, when it comes to PID tunes, I think like GepRC and iFlight are definitely on their game in terms of pumping out products that have good PID tunes. I'm seeing lately like other companies, pretty much everyone else, like not just other ones, just everyone other than GepRC or iFlight, just everyone else doesn't seem to be putting out very good PID tunes. Maybe they don't have the pilots on staff that can actually produce proper PID tunes, because typically I'm seeing just factory Betaflight PIDs on a lot of these without anything. Maybe they're expecting the customers to do that, and I think that for bind and fly these days, that's not the right approach. Most people that are buying bind and flies aren't good at tuning. They don't know how to tune. They don't have the time to. They're buying it because they want something that's pre-tuned from the factory. And then so if you're one of those type of buyers, then yeah, you probably want to stick with iFlight or GepRC. Those guys tend to do a much better job of out of the box PIDs. Okay, so this is the weight with the GoPro mount on there. Check the product link if you want to see the weight that they specify without the mount. 266 grams, obviously not going to be under the 250 gram limit. None of these will, but if you just fly it with the 1056S here, we're going to be coming in at 464. And throw on the GoPro 6. And now we're at 580. So for a 2004 motor, even with a 5-inch prop on 6S, 580 is, in my opinion, a little bit too much. Okay, so I probably showed you a little bit of the footage here from the Hero 6 just flying around. I will link the full video of that down in the description if you want to see it in higher resolution. And you can see where it's going to be more apparent what the shaking and bobbing is like. That's what I'm talking about. So check that video down in the video description if you want to see that in full screen. And then this is going to be the flight from the Nebula Pro camera without the GoPro on 6S, on the 6S battery here. Okay. Yeah, probably I might have another video later if Diatone sends me updated PIDs for this and hopefully a better setup. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this one on this particular model at this time. And I may or may not have another video on this in the future, but let me know if you have any questions about that, and I will try and address them in the future. Okay, that's gonna do it for this one. Talk to you guys later.